Hello students, how are you? I hope you are all comfortable at your home and busy in study for your exam preparation. You have to give more efforts, give more interest for the preparation your coming board examination, and it is very important, and you have to take care and try to give more efforts how to achieve your goal. In the last class already we have discussed regarding the extraction of metals from the different ores and different process already we have discussed. Today we are going to discuss very important thing regarding the extraction, that is principle of extraction. On what basis, how can you know whether the extraction process is possible or not, whether it is spontaneous or not. Already we have discussed in the thermodynamics, if the reaction is possible or feasible, its free energy should be negative. Free energy should be negative, already we have discussed. So today we are going to discuss this principle of metallurgy, that is thermodynamics concept of metallurgy, that Ellingham diagram. This is very important, that is Ellingham diagram. This is Ellingham diagram we are going to discuss. What is this diagram we will discuss later, but what is the principle behind the extraction, let us discuss. That is, already know Gibbs Helmholtz equation, that Gibbs equation, that del G is equal to del H minus T del S. Already we have discussed del G is equal to del H minus T del S. Del G should be negative. This concept is for any spontaneous reaction, del G must be negative, that is less than 0. To get less than del G value, then the reaction will be spontaneous. So del G is equal to del H minus T del S. Then if del S and del H both are responsible, the value of del H and del S both are responsible for the calculation of del G. And already you know this del G naught, that is standard free energy, is equal to minus RT ln K. What is K? K is called equilibrium constant. That is also relation between free energy change and equilibrium constant. Equilibrium constant always should be greater than 1. It should be always greater than 1 or greater than 0. You can say it is. So equilibrium constant must be greater than 0. If K will be greater than 0, then del G will be more negative. Then it will be more spontaneous. So this is the main principle of, that is extraction. Del G must be negative for any spontaneous process. Then to know the reaction whether possible or not, it is mainly studied by Ellingham. He derived a relation between which one? Standard free energy change and temperature. He plotted a graph between standard free energy change and temperature for the formation of oxides, sulfides, carbonate, different types of compound, their relation between del G and temperature. Mainly this graph is mainly the formation of oxides for the metals and non-metals. What are the features? What are the main importance of the Ellingham diagram? Let us discuss. What is the significance of this graph? This graph shows that the graph, almost all formation of oxides of this graph with increasing temperature is a straight line, gives a positive slope. This is the positive slope. If you see the first point of these features, silent features, that the graph is a positive slope. Positive slope means increasing, with increasing temperature the del G value increases, because already you know, if you see the relation that you already discussed, you see metal is a solid, that is oxygen gas, when it is heated, when it is burned, produce metallic oxides. But both sides, metal is solid and oxide is also solid, but oxygen is gas. This is your gas. So here this equation del S is negative. Entropy decreases. When entropy decreases, if you put this relation in the Gibbs-Helmholtz equation, if del S will be negative, if del S negative, then negative and negative it will be positive, so del G will be positive. Del G will be positive. Del G value will be positive. So this graph indicates positive slope, means the straight line, and positive slope means it is increasing del G value. The del G value increases. With increasing the del G value, with increasing temperature. That's why it is a positive slope. So this is the first features of the graph. What is that? With increasing temperature, the graph become straight line and it has positive slope. Then second point indicates that the graph which are coming below, that means lower part, the graph which are coming at the bottom, that oxide is more stable. That oxide is more stable, because you see magnesium oxide graph is just at the bottom. That means magnesium oxide, this magnesium oxide is more stable compared to other oxides, because the del G value is more negative. More negative del G value, more spontaneous, more feasibility, and the compound will be more stable. This concept already we have already read in thermodynamics. So the graph which are coming at the bottom, it is the oxide is more stable compared to others. So this is the second features of the graph. Third important point is greater the gap. If the gap between the lines is more, suppose this is zinc and magnesium, if you see the gap is more is the gap, more is the reduction process will be easier. More the gap, then the reducing process will be faster than that oxide which are at the below, at the bottom, that metal can, the graph which at the bottom, that metal can reduces higher oxides which are coming top, which are coming at the top, that can be reduced by the graph which are coming below at the bottom. So these are the main important points in the Ellingham diagram. Then fourth point, metal oxide is stable at the point in the curve below which del G is negative. Metal oxide is stable at the point in the curve below which del G is negative. Above this point, the metal oxide is unstable. That means if you see the graph, here these are stable. Below the graph, those are coming below. These are the 0, these are 0, del G 0. Under this value, all the oxides are stable, but the oxides which are coming above, the graph, like example is not shown in the graph, example silver oxides, mercury oxides, these oxides are very unstable, that can be decomposed on heating. That means if you heat this type of oxides, suppose silver oxides when will be heated, then convert to silver and oxygen, easily it will be decomposed. That means the graph which are coming above the zero axis, that oxides are unstable, and the oxides which are coming below the zero axis, that means which has a negative, below means negative, that is negative del G value, which that oxides are more stable. So this is the features. We can know which oxide is stable, which oxide is unstable. So this is the fourth point. Then fifth point indicates formation of enthalpy of carbon dioxide is almost a temperature independent constant, that means compared to carbon monoxide. You see the very important, you see here carbon dioxide graph, you see this is a straight line graph, but carbon monoxide graph is just a negative slope. The graph is a straight line in case of carbon dioxide, because here oxygen is gas in left side and carbon also gas in the right side, both are gas. As both are gas, left side also gas, one molecule, and right side also one molecule. That means entropy is constant. As entropy is remaining constant, that means the del G value will not be affected. That's why formation of carbon dioxide from carbon, that graph is a straight line without what? Positive or negative slope. But in case of carbon monoxide, what happens? If you see balance it, carbon monoxide in the right side, that is also gas, but it is two molecule, but right side oxygen will be one molecule. Left side in oxygen one molecule, right side carbon dioxide is two molecule. As right side two molecule is there, entropy change is more. As more entropy change, so del G will be more negative, because the concept is more del S value, del G will be more negative, because minus is multiplied. That's why in case of a carbon monoxide, the graph is a negative slope, but in case of carbon dioxide, graph is a straight line. So this is the difference between carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide formation in the Ellingham diagram. So this is explained in this point, that carbon monoxide is a negative slope, but carbon dioxide is a positive slope. That is already explained, because carbon monoxide equation, it has two molecule in the right side, but in the carbon dioxide equation, both side having one molecule. That's why first case, that is carbon dioxide case, no change in the slope, but in the carbon monoxide is a negative slope. So this is the very important, that is negative slope, already discussed. The next important point is the substance which gives free energy formation is lower at a given temperature will reduce one. Already this point already I have told you. What is that point? The points indicates the graph which are coming at the bottom, the oxides which are coming at the bottom, that metal oxide is more stable. As the metal oxide is more stable, that metal is more reactive than the oxides at the above, which are coming above. That's why lower metal can reduces higher metal oxides. This is very important. This lower metal can reduces the higher metal oxides. This is a very important point. Lower metal in the graph, the lower metal means which are coming at the bottom, that metal can reduces the higher metal oxides. That means you see the graph, magnesium can reduces aluminum oxide, aluminum can reduces zinc oxides, magnesium can reduces aluminum oxides, and aluminum can reduces zinc oxides, like this. So the graph which at the bottom can reduces the top. The below the graph, that metal can reduces the upper oxides. So this is the very important points of the Ellingham diagram. Then 7 points of this Ellingham diagram is very important feature, that intersection of two lines imply the equilibrium oxidation and reduction reaction between two substances. That means, for example, you see when the two graphs will be intersect, this is the intersect point at this point. At the A point indicates that intersection of aluminum oxide and magnesium oxide graph. Intersection of aluminum oxide and magnesium. That means at this point both can be oxidized and reduced. Both can be oxidized and reduced. But if you see, if you discuss this thing, for example, below this A, which graph is above? Aluminum oxide is above and magnesium oxide is below. That means magnesium can reduces aluminum oxides below this temperature. This temperature means, let us, that is 1300 degrees Celsius. That below 1300 degrees Celsius, magnesium can reduces aluminum oxides, but higher 1300 degrees Celsius, greater than degrees Celsius, 1300 degrees Celsius, which is coming below, aluminum is coming below. So aluminum can reduces magnesium. So this is very important difference. This graph shows that at what temperature which element can reduces which oxides. Same at point A, both can be reduce each other at this point, but below A magnesium can reduces, above A, that higher temperature, aluminum can reduces magnesium. Although magnesium is more reactive than aluminum, but at high temperature aluminum can reduces magnesium, because the graph shows that aluminum is just below and magnesium is above the aluminum oxide. This point just interchange, but this point is just opposite this point. So this is the nature of features of Ellingham diagram. Then last point is, except for the process in which change of phase takes place, each plot is a straight line. That means here if you see the graph, suppose this is the, if this is the graph, you see the graph changes the slope. When the slope changes, that indicates that change in the physical state of the system. The physical state of the system changes. If the graph will be a change in the slope, when the graph will be changed, the slope will be changed, that indicates the change in the physical state of the system. So this is the very important thing. Okay, so these are the some important features of the graph. If you can study another important features also, you can know. You see this zinc oxide graph and your carbon monoxide CO. If you see CO and ZnO, so zinc here, as zinc at this point, just this point, if you see, as ZnO at lower temperature, ZnO graph is coming below and your CO2 graph from CO is above. So CO cannot reduces ZnO at a lower temperature. At the lower temperature, this graph is towards left means lower temperature. At lower temperature, that we can say generally CO cannot reduces ZnO, because the graph here ZnO is coming below. That means CO cannot reduces ZnO. The graph which are coming below, that metal, that element can reduces hydroxide. So here CO cannot reduces ZnO. So many examples we will discuss afterwards, that we will discuss the application of Ellingham diagram. So this is regarding silent features of Ellingham diagram. Then what are the application of Ellingham diagram? How it is useful? First you see iron oxides, iron ores, that is hematite. Hematite is, that is Fe2O3, that is hematite. That iron ore, smelting of hematite ore, Ellingham diagram indicates that carbon monoxide acts as stronger reducing agent than carbon at a lower temperature. If you see the reduction of iron oxides, you see the graph, then you can understand. The graph shows that only you can know the difference from the graph. The graph shows that, you see, this is your carbon graph, this is your carbon graph, and this is your carbon monoxide graph, if you see. And at higher temperature, this is your carbon monoxide graph, and at higher temperature, this is the carbon monoxide graph, and lower temperature, this is the above. So this is your iron graph, iron oxide graph. That indicates, if you see iron oxide and your carbon monoxide, this is carbon monoxide, this is iron oxide graph. As carbon monoxide is below, so carbon monoxide can reduces iron oxide at lower temperature. This is the main concept. So carbon monoxide can reduces iron oxide at a lower temperature, forming carbon dioxide and iron. This reaction indicates at a lower temperature is possible, but at a higher temperature, if you see the graph, only it can be studied from the graph. So at a higher temperature, you see carbon monoxide, formation of carbon monoxide is coming. That means carbon is the better reducing agent. This is at lower temperature, this is at lower temperature, but at a higher temperature, at a high temperature, carbon used as a reducing agent, forming carbon monoxide and iron. That means this reaction possible at a higher temperature and this reaction is possible at a lower temperature. That means carbon monoxide can reduces iron oxide at a lower temperature, but at a higher temperature carbon used as reducing agent, because the graph indicates which are coming below. Carbon monoxide graph is coming below means at a higher temperature C can be used as reducing agent, but at a lower temperature carbon monoxide acts as reducing agent for the reduction of iron oxides, that is hematite. So this is one important application we can know from the graph. It is studied from the graph. Second, that is very important thing is that very important this one, reduction of chromium oxide. Why chromium oxide cannot be reduced by carbon? Why carbon cannot reduces chromium oxide? If you see the graph, is very important. If you see the graph, chromium graph is not given here. In the chromium graph is not given, but if you see the chromium graph is coming above compared to carbon. So carbon can reduces. If you see the nature of graph, carbon can reduces, but why practically it is not possible? Because what happens, if you see here, during strong heating of chromium oxides and carbon, that chromium oxide is produced. Again chromium oxides, what happens, reacts with carbon forming carbides. As chromium carbide is produced, here it is given, as chromium carbide is formation of carbides, as the carbides is produced, that's why the chromium metal cannot be separated from the mixture. That's why chromium oxide cannot be reduced by carbon, although theoretically is possible, but practically it is not possible, because during heating the chromium forms carbides, so it cannot be easily separated. That's why the extraction of or reduction of chromium oxide using carbon is not possible. This is the important application. Then another very important application, that which metal, chromium and aluminum, which can reduces each other. For example, if you see the formation of chromium oxide, this is the first step. Formation of chromium oxide, del G value is this much, minus 541 kilojoule. Similarly, aluminum oxide formation, the graph del G value is also minus 827. Which has more del G value, negative value? That is aluminum oxide, the del G value is more. That means aluminum oxide is more stable than chromium oxide. Aluminum oxide is more stable than chromium oxide. Stability, this is the aluminum oxide, because del G value is more negative. If you see the del G value, in case of aluminum oxide, del G value is minus 827, but in case of chromium, the del G value is minus 541. Minus 41 and is 8 minus 827. This value is, the aluminum value is more negative. But formation is possible not, you see. Suppose chromium oxide, aluminum oxide mixture and then heated strongly. When it is heated, you see the reaction, this is the reaction. But how can you get this reaction? This is the third equation, this is the first equation, second equation. To get third equation, we have to use the first equation and second equation. But to get the third equation, we have to use 1 will be deducted from, you see, deduct equation 1 from equation 2. Equation, this is the equation 1, this is equation 2. So deduct equation 1 from equation 2. So if you deduct this one, so from 2, equation 1 from 2, then this is minus sign. This will be minus sign. When it will be minus sign, then what happens? The automatically here minus sign is left side chromium, it will go to right side. Then here oxygen you will cancel, both will be cancelled. Then chromium oxide will be left side, minus, it is right side, then it will come to left side. So if you get, the result will be Cr2O3, aluminum, and Cr and Al2O3. So the equation is in this way. But what is the del G change? Then when as per the equation, deduct equation 1 from equation 2. 1, that is, what is the question? To get equation 3, we have to deduct equation 1 from 2. From 2 will deduct. That means that here you will get, which value will get? Minus 800, that means minus 827, then minus 542, because equation 1 from 2, equation 2 is this value and 1 value this much, so it will be minus is plus, the result will be minus 285 kilojoule. This result is coming. So minus 285 kilojoule coming with negative sign. Negative sign, del G value is negative, means reduction is possible. Already we have discussed, del G value negative means it is possible. If del G value will be more negative, then feasibility will be more. That means spontaneity will be faster. So this is the main difference. So this is regarding the application of Ellingham diagram. Then what are the limitation of Ellingham diagram? Very important limitation is whether the reaction is possible or not, that is thermodynamic concept. So the Ellingham diagram gives only thermodynamic concept but not giving kinetic concept. Kinetically it is not possible. That means the Ellingham diagram is not studied the thermodynamic concept and kinetic concept, only study the thermodynamic concept. So this is the one demerit, because the reaction whether feasible or not, we can study both thermodynamic, if thermodynamically feasible, and it should be also kinetically feasible. If thermodynamically possible but kinetically is not possible, reaction will be very slow, maybe very slow. Very slow means amount of product will be very less. That's why when it will be possible both thermodynamically and kinetically, then the reaction will be 100% feasible and the amount of product will be more. So this is the very important concept, lack of both concept in Ellingham diagram. Then another concept is that del G based on equilibrium constant. It is only based on equilibrium constant, as it is presumed that reactant and product in equilibrium, but this is not always true that all equation will be in equilibrium. That's why this is the one important demerit of Ellingham diagram, that only it is applicable in case of at the that is standard state. In case of standard state we can calculate, but if it is not, if the reaction is not equilibrium, then it is difficult to calculate the del G value. So that's why this is the very important limitation of Ellingham diagram. And what are the features of Ellingham diagram, then what is Ellingham diagram, I can know whether the reaction is possible or not, whether the extraction is possible or not, only we can know calculation of del G and from the nature of graph. Already again I am showing the graph, very important, that is Ellingham diagram, which is used in different steel industries and aluminum industries, so many metal, that is metallurgy, that concept is used, they are using this Ellingham diagram. This diagram is very important. From the diagram we can know at what temperature the reaction is feasible, that is extraction is possible. So practice, any doubt you have, any question if you have, you can send the question in the comment box, but please don't forget to subscribe the channel and share the videos to your friends if you like the video. Okay, thank you all.